Welcome back to New York. I'm Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. We now know who's going to be playing for the title 2007 World Champion. 16 rounds are in the books, 5 rounds of Legacy, wrapped it up, and pretty cool top 8.
This is a very, very, very exciting top 8. I'm going to use even more varies if possible.
You sound like my 3-year-old. Very. I think the headliner is Gabriel Nassif.
Oh my God. This is his 8th Pro Tour top 8.
Right.
This is a chance for him to vindicate himself after last year's World Championships, where he maybe misplayed, maybe didn't misplay.
He made a
felt like he had the title. I mean, we really felt in the booth like he had the title.
I thought he was going to win it,
and we saw it slip away.
I saw he made a judgment. It wasn't a blunder, but I mean, it was a judgment call that we questioned when he made it. It turned out to cost him the game. Every people questioned it afterwards. I think it was, it was subtle, but it was just a mistake.
And ironically, he's going to be trying to vindicate himself playing Dragonstorm.
It's true. The deck that he lost to, the deck that Mahara won the World Championship last year, was Dragonstorm. That's what Nassif's piloting in the top 8. That nice brew that he and Pat Chapin and Mark Herberholz put together. So that'll be interesting. And Nassif actually, he beat Mahara to get here.
Right.
Like earlier in the Swiss, or deep on day 2, he beat Mahara to get here. Now, another guy in the top 8, speaking of world champions, is Katsuhiro Mori. Katsuhiro Mori wins the World Championship 2 years ago, and now he's back looking for World Championship title number 2.
He came here with matching hair and sweater.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Came here, he was still a little unfamiliar with some of the cards, and you could just see him getting stronger as the finish line approached.
It's true.
He was a little unsure of himself in a couple of the formats, and then as the tournament got on, you just saw him get that killer instinct. The last round reminded me of when he won the title in Japan. He took off his sweater, went down to his tank top again, took off his shoes, crossed his legs up under himself. Yeah. It was the same scene that we had in Yokohama 2 years ago.
A little less emotional. Like the Yokohama scene was much more of a breakthrough. Like he finally,
right.
And this was just like, I'm expected to be here. I've been here before. I'm calm. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to win. And so he's through to the top 8.
Yeah, he definitely had a killing robot quality about him this weekend.
I thought so. I thought so. A lot more confidence than we saw in Yokohama.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another guy in this top 8 who's got multiple top 8s on his resume is Pat Chapin.
3.14 top 8s is what we determined.
He's still trying to claim a junior's top 8, which counts. I mean, the Junior Pro Tour back in the early days was awesome. That's where Finkel was playing. That's where all the good, a lot. Absolutely, they count as tremendous achievements, bigger than Grand Prix.
When we inducted Kai into the Hall of Fame, he said, I tried my first Pro Tour. I played in the juniors because I thought it would be easy, and I played Kibler, and I played this guy, and I played this guy, and it was a tough tournament.
So Chapin has been around literally since the beginning of the Pro Tour, been writing about the game, building decks, and now here he is. It's been a while since his last top 8, but here he is. It's going to be interesting what he can do with another copy of that Dragonstorm deck that we both crowned as the deck of day 1 of this Pro Tour.
Absolutely.
Got some other nice storylines too. Christoph Huber from the Swiss national team is the 1 seed. Yoshitaka Nakano is through from Japan. Yuri Peleg has the Israeli team sitting at the top of the Swiss.
And is the first Israeli player to make a Pro Tour top 8.
That's right. That's a new country for the top 8. Absolutely right. Roel van Heeswijk, a Dutch player that's been around for a while, got a fair amount of respect from the guys on the inside. And then Kotaro Utsuka, another Japanese player.
And a former Japanese national champion, I believe. Right. 2003, I believe, with Madness.
Japanese players have won 2 World Championships in a row. We get 3 of them into this top 8, trying to make it 3 in a row. We'll see. We'll see. Who's your pick?
My pick is Gabriel Nassif.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I really think, Brian and I talk a lot about who are the best players in the game. It's clearly John and Kai, number 1, number 2.
Right.
But after that, it starts to get, it's sort of an interesting question. Who's number 3 of all time?
Right. There's Kenji. There's
Bob Maher.
Gabe. There's Bob Maher.
I think those are the next 3, and the question is the order. And right now, I think Gabe is really
eight Pro Tour top 8s. Is rarefied air.
And a win.
It's very thin air that not a lot of people can breathe in.
And he's a deck builder, too, on top of everything. I think we're looking at one of the all-time greats in the history of the game, and to see if he gets to put world champion on his resume. Legacy was crazy today. The last 5 rounds, it was just insane. People were playing cards I had no idea. I saw Muldrifter, I saw Gaffin Raiders, and I saw a first-turn kill.
Yeah. Otsuka.
Yeah.
Playing for top 8.
Playing against Mahara, last year's world champion.
He needs Shu Kimura to win,
which happened,
to make his match relevant.
Right.
He's playing against Mahara.
Yeah, Mahara, the reigning world champion, damn near put up back-to-back. Lost in the last round against Otsuka because,
The extent of Mahara's plays in game 1 of the final round, it was Mahara deciding not to mulligan, keep his cards, and then he died.
He did have to shuffle. There was a diminishing return.
There was a diminishing return.
So he got to
You're
draw
right.
a new hand to 7
Absolutely.
without the whole mulligan option thing. But yeah, Otsuka, essentially, he's got Spirit Guides and Tinder Walls and a couple Lion's Eye Diamonds, Burning Wishes. Basically, it's a 2-land Belcher deck.
Right.
So it was 2-land Belcher. He can just bust out Char Belcher. As long, one of his lands is a mountain. He probably just wins by playing and activating Char Belcher, and he's got the mana to set that up. But you don't have the Belcher. He's got Burning Wish. He goes against diminishing returns from the sideboard.
And Akira
Sacks the
Asahara.
Lion's Eyes as a response.
Akira Asahara added the diminishing returns to that deck. It turns out at the last minute it was actually a
won in
popular
both
Japanese
games.
deck. Yeah.
Both games against Mahara. So he gets diminishing
ran over on
returns into a second Burning Wish, which goes and gets Tendrils of Agony. So Char Belcher never even entered into it in the turn 1 kill. Then in the second game, Mahara is turn 1, crack, Thoughtseize, takes away the Burning Wish.
From a turn 1 kill hand.
It would have been a second. It would have been 2 turn 1 kills in a row, absolutely. But then he top decks Burning Wish a couple turns later. Mahara couldn't quite get his Cal deck pieced together in time. So Otsuka's through to the top 8. What on earth was Guillaume Wafatapo playing in this tournament? His legacy deck, I saw Arc Slogger pick up a Jitte and head for the red zone.
And Rumble.
And that's a feature match in the last round. I mean, they were to miss top 8 on tiebreakers, basically.
Right. He was unmorphing Gaffin Raiders.
It's crazy.
He was playing Trinispheres. He was making first turn Magus of the Moons. Yeah. He had Simian Spirit Guides. It was a crazy deck. It was called Dragon Stompy. Hopefully we can do a feature on it tomorrow. He had Rakdos Pit Dragons.
Yep, saw that. I feel like the story in Legacy hasn't been written yet. Like on Standard, I think that there were some decks that were expected. They did well. Here's a new deck, and in Legacy, it's just like who knows what the best deck in Legacy is right now? These guys didn't figure it. One of them might have figured it out, but we don't know. I mean, the conversation clearly moved forward. Right, you're starting to see people settle into a legit metagame where there's clearly a bunch of tops and you can counterbalance, and there's Tarmogoyfs everywhere, Dark Confidants everywhere. You kind of know what some of the key players are, but then you can go off and build an Enchantress deck. You can go off and build this or that or the other thing. It's just
people who put
crazy.
The work in were clearly rewarded in this format.
Yeah, and so you saw Shukamura and Stuart Wright ran off 5-0s. They kind of won the day, I guess. Stuart Wright was playing Survival Goblin Welder.
Right, Survival Goblin Welder, Anger, and then get a couple of 7/10s going.
Blow up your lands. Just an awesome day. I think this has been a fun tournament so far. It's been 16 rounds of craziness with some stuff that makes some sense and some craziness seasoned in.
And we have Two-Headed Giant tomorrow.
Two-Headed Giant, yeah. Let's talk about the team day. First place in the team competition right now, Switzerland and Japan in a dead heat. Japan we expected, Switzerland not so much, but they've got the #1 seed from the individual in Christoph Huber. Israel's sitting in 3rd place. Going to be an interesting. We'll play a bunch of Two-Headed Giant. We'll figure out which 2 teams will join these 8 competitors on Sunday on camera. Tune in for the webcast. Tune in tomorrow. We'll do some more previews. Tune in for the webcast on Sunday. Brian and I will be here. Stay tuned.
Let's go get some burgers.